I spent a lot of time with them as a child, and that started my journey. But it goes back as far as I can figure out up to 7 generations. So tonight we're going to do the same thing with you. Some of you may have more or a little less, but I can map mine up 7 generations, and I'm going to help you guys do the same. So this is my Eason trail. So I am the great great granddaughter of Richard Eason, and the great great granddaughter of John Eason, and the great grandchild of Willie Eason Sr., and the granddaughter of Willie Eason, the daughter of Patricia Eason, and I'm Andretta Eason, of course, and I have one child, Eason. So this is my fraction of a tree, and before tonight is over, you will have one as well. So, in each family, there is one that is called to find the ancestors, to put the flesh on the bones of the ones that have gone and to kind of bring them to life. And I'm fortunate enough to be one of the ones on the history team of the Eason, connecting the dots and breathing life into all of those who have come and gone before us. So every family has a story. Welcome to ours. Back in 1836, John Thomas Eason, that is the one that owned us. Okay, thank you. Okay, thanks. John Thomas Eason, see, we still have his name. He's the one that owned our family. But back in 1836, he would move his family, his entire livestock, all of his possessions, and all of the slaves that he owned. He moved them from Pitt County, North Carolina, to Sumter County, Alabama. And John Thomas would eventually become one of the largest slave owners in the state of Alabama.
Wow.
So we're a derivative of that. So to move fast forward a bit, decades before he would pass, John Thomas, he devised a document that later became his will. And on January 4th, John Thomas Eason, the slave owner that owned our family, he would bequeath to his son Elias Card Eason. It reads a little bit like this. And this final will dated September 29, 1858, it reads as follows. I have loaned the following Negro slaves to my son, Jonathan a man, Jenny a woman, and a little boy named Dick. This little boy would eventually grow up as Richard, and this is the one who would become our ancestral grandfather. Upon his growing up, he met and married Melvina Mitchell, who was also resided on the same plantation as he did, the Eason plantation. January 2nd, 1868, they were married shortly after the Civil War. And they became, as upon our birth, they became our ancestral grandparents. All of us are a derivative of Richard and Melvina Eason. So we all share the same ancestral grandparents, and of course we are derived from them. But to their union, they brought forth 10 children. Yes, and they are as follows. Yes, so John is the eldest. The next slide. Willis. James. Richard Jr. Mark. Benny. Laura. Edward. Betty, and Doc Johnson. So those were their 10 children. The oldest is John. John will go on to marry Emma Jane Harrison. They will bring forth 9 children: Pearlie, John D., Amos, Virginia Fanny, Mary Liza, Rebecca, Johnny, Susie, and Willie Jr. Their second oldest, who was the next one? It should be Willis. Okay. Then their next son would be Willis. Willis had 3 wives. His first wife was, he had 4 children from his first wife, Isabel Leonard. His second wife, Olivia Power. And in his older life, he did marry after Olivia passed. Now altogether, he had 12, I think about 14 children. And they are Robert, he had the biggest clan, Ben, Mary, Cora, Melvina, Robert, which is R.L., Willis, Jesse Jr., Alice, Amanda, Fanny, James, Sandy, Sally, Johnson, Daniel, and Willie B.
Willie B.
Yes. The B is for Beatrice. Right? Beatrice. Okay. Her granddaughter is here. James will subsequently go on to marry Caroline Johnson, and they would bring forth 9 children. Oh, James. The slides are a little bit out of order, but James. They are Molly, Rose, Edna, Eugene, Richard, Willie, Alice, Otis, and Bernice. So I'll follow the slides up here. Betty would bring forth 2, Lydia and Joe Jr. Okay, the other ones don't seem to be there. But we had Mark, Fanny, Doc Johnson, and that's it for the kids. So Edward and Mark, there's no trace of any of their offspring. There's not a lot of records passed. Ed was married. Mark seemed to have passed as a young child, but we're still looking for information. But what we're gonna do tonight is we've been talking about history, finding each other, finding our relatives, putting this all together. So what we're gonna do is what I call our Circle of Life Legacy Workshop. So our objective is going to journey your way to our ancestral grandparents. I kind of modeled it for you, but I have forms for everybody, and you're going to fill out your form through your Eason journey. That means you and whichever one of your parents were the Eason, and grandparents, and so forth and so on. So there should be some forms that have been passed out to you guys, where we're gonna sketch that. I'll come around and help everybody. But using this procedure, again, we're gonna insert the names of the descendants of which you are offspring of in your Eason line. And our evaluation is going to be our finished product, because they all live in us. So the people at your table should be able to help jar your memory or help you put together some things. I did bring a map that I kind of put together with my hands. I'm kind of old school when it comes to technology, so I do the real cut and paste. So here it is on the wall if you need that to help you. But some of us already know, but I got a lot of requests to do that. So we're gonna work on that while we're eating our cake. Okay. For now. So you're gonna get a blank model like this, okay? I filled in the top one as far as we can go, our grandparents, Richard and Melvina. Then the next generation are their 10 kids. Then the next are stair steps where we're gonna fill out as it relates to us. And that way, that'll give us a better picture of how we connect to one another. Go to the next one where my model was.
So I got another one.
One more. The next one. No. The one before. It may not be there. I don't know. Okay, just go back to this. So does everybody have their forms? Yeah. You don't have it in the head. You have it in the head. No. Okay. So does everybody know their genealogy, at least 7, 8 generations? I went up to 7. I do have a child, but no grandchildren. But most people are going to have at least 8, and some of us will have 9 generations. So, because a lot of times we only know up to our great-grandparents. And I think that's why I felt so balanced as a child, because I knew my great-grandparents and then my great-great-grandparents, and that was like, I always felt like that was a gift for me. I always said, well, since I didn't have my mother, God gave me all these grandparents. Okay, so I'm going to circulate a little bit and give you all time to look at that. And if you all don't mind. Okay, so one of the questions is, what is this up here? This is just simply a map of Richard Eason and Melvania's family. Their 10 children, it's a 4-generational map. Their 10 children, and then their children's children, and then their children's children. So it's up here close enough so we can connect to that. So once you have all of those, you add your generations to that. We should all at least have 7, 8 generations. We have extra paper, but this is the way we can just get it down on paper, because I'm a visual. And if you guys have any questions, did that help, Crystal?
No.
So I'm going to circulate.
Okay, did you guys get that? Now, we got to give Andretta a big round of applause for what she did. That's just wonderful. For her to do that kind of research and put it out there for us to see it, she has provided us a platform to follow your history. And for this kind of presentation and hard work, this is something that we all should appreciate. Whatever you do tonight, hold on to that information, because that information will be shared with your children and your children's children. I just admire what Andretta and my sister Jean has done together to put that information together. We're going to encourage all our children to make sure that they familiarize themselves with that history. Okay? So Andretta's going to be walking around to give you an idea about how you are connected to that particular family. It's way back there, so when she looks at it, she will be able to tell you, oh, you fall in this category. Once you give her name and how you are related to the Eason's family, she will be able to point out to you which one of these family members' category you'll be able to fall under. And the first 3 people that fill out their tree, get something, I guess. So you guys better get busy, get that ink pen out, and fill that information out. Anybody have any questions? This is so important, and this is so wonderful. Now, while Andretta is doing that, you guys have on the program, but we may have to stop just for a second. Andretta, do you need about 5 or 10 minutes, Andretta?
Oh, they're doing their math, so it just depends on what they do, and I'll come after we do the first 3.
Okay. Meanwhile, we all know as African Americans, we have challenges in our lives. Many of those challenges has to do with our health. And we have health challenges. When we talk across the table to other family members, we're finding out that we're not the only person having health challenges, but one of our own family members is also having a health challenge. That's why it's so important to have that conversation. I found out that I could help my health challenges out because I talked to another relative, and they were talking about how they dealt with their health challenges, which helped me to deal with my health challenges, and my health got better. It's all about having a conversation with your family. So talk to one another, not just about your family history, but also about your health as well. So take this opportunity now to fill that information out, and then after you finish doing that, I'm gonna have someone else to come to you and talk to you about that particular subject. So, this is our time to go to work and do some homework, fill it out, hold on to it, and share with your children. If you guys get a chance, get your cameras out and go and take a picture of what's on the wall over there. That is really, really helpful information. I know you guys did not expect this homework. This classwork, this reunion work.
I think I got it right. Oh, your children. I know. Yes. Ready?